It's about the books that I read for the last 40 years, and today I have my special guest. She's an experiential learner, leads with humility and curiosity when well rested and fed. And of course, the author of the book or workbook, Spaghetti on the Wall Journal. No other than Miss Kristan Swan.
Thank you so much.
Welcome, Miss Kristan on Book One Wonder Bee. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Yes, of course, Danielle. Thank you. Well, as you mentioned, I'm the creator of Spaghetti on the Wall, which is a journal. It's meant to create a daily habit of journaling for more awareness and self discovery. And this has been part of a path for myself and also my clients over the years. I have a very eclectic professional background, and I've always been very entrepreneurial. And in the process, I have been just really, I think a lot about how we learn about ourselves and how that allows us to live more fully into the lives that we are wanting, right? Lives that have some meaning and purpose. And so I've had to do the learning along the way myself. And I think a lot about storytelling. So, in addition to my journals, I also host in person workshops, and there's an emphasis on the reflecting and writing of stories and sharing of stories with each other.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss Kristan. Thank you. So tell us, Miss Kristan, how do you personally define spirituality, especially in contrast to organized religion?
Well, for me specifically, spirituality is a sense of something greater than myself. And that really means it's interesting because it's a connection the to nature, to the rest of humanity. So there is a oneness, and there's also this vastness of possibility. And so for me, that is at the core of spirituality. Now, with religion, I see that much more I see it as a construct. I see it as something that humans have created very specifically to give us systems and rules and a structure to follow. And for some people, that is the way that they will connect with this idea of that which is bigger than themselves, whether they consider that to be God or the universe or creator, whatever your words are. Um, but spirituality for me does not solely live in places of worship or amongst people who are worshiping in a similar manner.
Let's start with the vivid name, Spaghetti on the Wall Journal. What's the story behind it, and what does that metaphor perfectly capture about your approach?
Yeah, so about 2017, I was working as a business coach. I had several clients working directly with mostly independent business owners, so founders and running their own businesses, pretty much small. Some of them had teams up to about 12 people, but I was working directly with them, and I would notice that my clients would come to me kind of repeatedly with complaints. And it was based on choices that they were making. And there seemed to be a little bit of a disconnect between their their behaviors and their patterns essentially and what they were saying that they were really looking to achieve in their business. So I thought to myself, what is a tool? What's a really simple way that I can assist my clients with getting that awareness? And because the way that I think about coaching or facilitating workshops or anything is that my job is not to change people. What I can do is maybe assist people in gaining some awareness around their behaviors. And then it's up to each individual whether or not you want to make changes or not. So, Spaghetti on the Wall started as this journal and to develop a habit of discernment, is what I say. And the title came specifically from cooking. We were growing up. My mom had lots of friends who were always kind of coming in and out of the house. And one of our really good friends was this he loved to cook and he was very flamboyant when he cooked. It was like a show, right? And so making pasta one day, and I'll never forget this. Uh, we're making pasta and I'm asking, I think I was in charge of essentially boiling water. And I'm watching it and I'm asking him, is it done yet? Is it done? And he said, well, take out a noodle and throw it on the wall and see if it sticks. If it sticks, it's done. So, I threw the first noodle and it fell back down. And he actually liked us to throw it on the ceiling, which is a little bit harder to clean up. But we threw it, fell back down, and then finally, it stuck. So then we removed it. And I feel like that's kind of an important way to approach life in a sense. That we are here to gather information and experiences, right? And so throw stuff up on the wall and see what sticks and pay attention, right? I mean, don't just throw it and then, so to speak, continuing with the metaphor, don't just throw the spaghetti and then turn away. You've got to actually pay attention. Is it sticking? Did it fall? Did it halfway stick, right? And because all of these experiences that we are having with individuals, we have so much opportunity if we are paying attention to get really good information about who we are, what lights us up, what is stuff that we want to maybe let go of or move on from, right? So there's
Mhm.
always great, just, we can have our own kind of enlightenment, so to speak, if we just pay attention to our own lives.
Enlightenment. I like that. Ms. Kristan, how would you define this journaling method to someone who is used to more structured, linear, or narrative diary keeping?
Hmm. The way One of the reasons why I think Spaghetti on the Wall really works, and I say this as somebody who does this practice every day myself, is because it's formatted with prompts. And it's because we all know that the blank page, whether it's a blank page that we're writing on physically with a pen or pencil, or the blank page with the cursor on the computer, blinking, the blank page can be so intimidating. Like where to start, right? So Spaghetti on the Wall has prompts and instruction. And for starters, it's really asking you to journal in a way that is almost invites you to be a non-judgmental observer of your own life. And the reason why I like this practice is because so much of kind of the regular keeping a diary, so to speak, right, of documenting each day, kind of going linear, hour by hour throughout the day, can be good information And again, if we're really looking for that enlightenment, so to speak, what about this practice, this I do, is journal as that non judgmental observer. Then the next set of prompts really asks you to pick those big yeses of the day, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
you felt either you lost track of time, kind of got that flow state happening, or you just felt lighter, you felt more engaged, you felt more like yourself. And then it asks you to reflect on the times, parts of the day where I call it the not so much. And it's really about what were those things that, and it's not, it's those things that you just, they didn't land the way that either you thought they were going to land, right? So it was a misalignment of your expectations. It could be that you ended up feeling really crummy, even. And sometimes it can be that the not so much part can be like you didn't really like how you showed up, right? In a situation, a meeting, or even a dinner, right? So it I think the importance here is that we are removing judgment in a way that is not about absolving or erasing our personal responsibility and accountability to ourselves, but it is hopefully removing that weight of guilt or shame, which I don't know if that serves us that well when we are looking to discover more about ourselves and grow more fully into the people that we are or that we hope to be.
Okay, interesting answer, Miss Kristan. So, what are the gap or frustration with traditional journaling that this method help you solve?
Well, the one of the frustrations of traditional journaling can be that it can be very, again, kind of without prompts. If you're just relaying your day and there is value, right, in pouring your heart out onto the page. And if you are doing it in such a way where it's kind of a rumination, then there's not a emphasis so much on the awareness piece as there is to a real kind of digging in, or even what can become an attachment to what essentially becomes a story that you're telling yourself about yourself. So I think that regular journaling, kind of without some guidance or some guardrails, so to speak, can kind of promote this rumination. I think the other thing too is the reality of our daily lives is we all feel like we don't have enough hours or minutes of the day. And although we may think that journaling is a good practice, and we kind of think that it falls into those bucket of things that are good for us, right? Like daily exercise or drinking enough water or whatever. Um, it can feel like, oh gosh, I don't know where to start, or it's going to take too much time. And spaghetti on the wall is really designed to be, I tell people it's designed to be relatively short, right? So I tell people set your timer for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And when your timer goes off, you can throw that pencil across the room and be done with it and close it and go on with your day. If you want to and you feel inspired, you can keep going, but not. I'm really about making things simple and accessible. So it's not about making it this weighty, heavy thing that is going to require you to do hours and hours of kind of what some people might be worried is painful self-reflection.
Interesting, Miss Kristan. So, what are your short-term and long-term goals as an author?
Well, I have a new journal coming out at the beginning of the year. So my short-term goal is to get that out into the world too. And that is called heart mapping. And that is going to be using a slightly different modality, a little less focused on writing words. It is a continuous drawing prompt that personally I find so helpful because some days I'll be completely real here. I've been real this whole time, so no reason to stop. It is sometimes when you're trying to write using words, you just feel like you can't find the right word. The words are not kind of matching up with all that you are feeling. So for me, a continuous line drawing is such a great release. So I've put that together in a new journal called Heart Mapping, which will be out in January. So, and the longer term goal is through the workshops that I hold, and most of them are primarily in person, is to kind of invite and welcome more people into getting curious about who they are and their story, and allowing them to maybe remove the barriers that they think they have around writing. And because I think that writing seems uh, it, it can seem difficult, or it can seem like there's some people who write really, really well, and we're always not sure if we write that well. So my workshops are focused on getting people writing and sharing and reflecting, and hopefully doing it in a way that kind of is less intimidating or less, um, just less forced.
Hmm. Good luck to your goals, Ms. Kristan, and looking forward for more success. And what will be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
Well, I would say number one, be yourself. And and so I mean, for me, becoming more of myself has been putting into practice a daily journaling, time for journaling, time for that reflection. So I definitely recommend that. And I also would just say that I don't know, just to be kinder to yourself. I mean, there's so many different ways that we can be so hard on ourselves. And so if you're aspiring to write more, or if you're aspiring to do whatever it is in your personal and professional life, give it a go and bring your own personality to it, because there's enough room for those many different people to be doing quote unquote the same thing. But it's always, if you're bringing your most authentic self to it, then it's going to be just different enough that that's where your success is going to be.
Yes, definitely. And thank you for that advice, Miss Kristen. And would you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Recommend a book. Is that what we're saying?
Yes, please.
Yes. Well, I was recommending recently A Flame, Learning from Silence, and that's written by Pico Eiler. And it's a wonderful, wonderful um, kind of reminiscence, as well as reflection on again spirituality and self-discovery. So I absolutely love that book. And the other book that I had on my shelf for so long that I'm going to recommend too is Ryan Holiday's Stillness is the Key. And that's a great book because the way that it's organized, you can dive in at different chapters, and you don't necessarily need to read it cover to cover. So if you've got a few minutes here and there, that's a good one to get just some inspiration. And again, it's really about he is teaching in a style that uses storytelling. So no surprise that I enjoy that.
Thank you for that recommended books, Miss Kristan. Thank you. What's one piece of a counterintuitive advice you give to someone just starting their first spaghetti journal?
I would say it's specifically designed to be transportable. So a lot of times when we are thinking about building a new habit, we one of the things, and James Clear in Atomic Habits talks about how to establish new habits, and one of the recommendations is to pair it with something that you're already doing. And so, I mean, I think that's great advice. However, what I would do is bring spaghetti on the wall along with you. It's small enough that you can throw it in a book bag, in a purse, and bring it with you and kind of allow yourself to start out doing it here and there. Kind of basically play with the time of day that works for you to be journaling. And the other thing I would say is I recommend doing it daily because I think that's where the power is developing a consistent habit. And I mean, if you miss a day, don't beat yourself up. Just get started when the next day.
Yeah, started with the next day. And Miss Tristan, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my Abstract Essay is already in fifth season, Abstract Poetry in second season, and my Book 101 Review in fifth season too, Comedy 101 in second season, and my Food 101 in sixth season. This December, Geography 101, Love Letters, Movie 101, Review Music 101, fourth season, Science 101, Sex 101, second season, and Mental Health 101, Bible Verses 101, as well as my Entrepreneurship 101 on its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Kristan, finally, if your journal is the wall, what's a meal you have made from the spaghetti that stuck? A project, a decision, or realization that truly nourish you?
That's such a great question. I really appreciate that. I The thing that has really stuck for me is the awareness of my curiosity. And my curiosity serves me so well in staying open, right? And staying in that place where I'm I'm saying yes, and I'm also open to learning. I'm open to challenging myself, right? And in that process, I also have realized how kind of the infinite nature of our creativity. So it has allowed me to become less attached to some of my ideas. And what I mean by that is that I can kind of I can be willing to kill my best ideas and try something new. So I think that there is that openness and that constant curiosity gives me a almost a resilience, I guess would be if I had to pick one word to describe it.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss Kristan Swan. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your books, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yeah, please visit my website, kristanswan.com. Sign up for the mailing list so that you will be informed of all upcoming releases and different events. So kristanswan.com is the place where you can find all sorts of good information.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Kristan Swan because if we support her for sure, more and more spaghetti on the wall will rise. So, Miss Kristan, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Maricam people, see you soon.